Hi, I'm Rick McPartlin. I'm the co-founder of the Revenue Game and the chief revenue scientist. And I've been part of Vistage for a little over 20 years, 15 of that as a speaker, and had the opportunity to be the US Speaker of the Year for Tech Canada in 2008. I've done a few hundred talks, and every single talk I do has something to do with applying revenue science to either somebody's career or their business. And revenue science is the 21st century's context of business. For those of you who aren't familiar with the science, you're at its mercy. And for those of you who are familiar with it, you get to leverage it to make your world better. My purpose is to make sure every single solitary person and every single solitary organization that's willing to make the commitment can apply revenue science to make their world better. My talks fall into three general areas. The first area is we'll help people expose kind of myths that are left over. There was a 150-year interruption in how the world of businesses was done between about 1850 and 2000. In that 150 years, there were really some bad habits that were created by changes in socioeconomics and technology. Then around 2000, when the internet showed up, the world started to go back where the buyer was in charge and where it was important to trust who you're doing business with, and transparency mattered. So that 150 years, when we didn't do those things, it created some myths and it created some problems that we still linger in our business schools and how we do business. So we have one talk that deals with that. We have a second talk that's really all about the fact that if an organization does not have a real certified chief revenue officer, which in the 21st century is a really good idea, if you don't have one, then the CEO has to function like a CRO. And so one of the talks helps the CEO realize what their responsibilities are and what are some of the tools and the approaches and the processes and best practices for them to do that. And then the third talk is probably the most important of all. It's really about new rules and new tools to be able to live a revenue culture. One of the things the 21st century has taught us with all of the black swan events of 9/11 and dot bomb and the Great Recession and the pandemic is that there's a lot of things out there that can kind of bite us if we're not careful. And living a revenue culture is when an organization maximizes profits because it optimizes a people-first culture. When we think about maximizing profits, someplace in the back of our minds, we know that that means things like scale and innovation and creativity and continuous improvement. And all of those things are done by our team. And so it makes sense when we look at it that way, that if you want to maximize profits, you have to first optimize your culture. So that's one of my favorite talks, is helping people figure out how to maximize profit because they optimize their first person culture, their people first culture. And that's really what we call living a revenue culture. It's a great way to live. So I would love to have the opportunity to talk to some or all of your groups. And my talks can be face-to-face, person-to-person. They can be Zoom. They can be some combination, or often for offsites or other kinds of unique sessions, we'll create one for you. So reach out, let me know, and hopefully we get a chance to work together.